Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a calm conversation that's meant to lull you into a relaxed state and push everything aside that's been swirling in your brain and just join us here for 26 minutes. And if you don't make it to the end of this episode, perfect. You've done the work that we wanted you to do. And by work, I mean the relaxation. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
I'm Amanda Barker, and we had done some discussion prior to this, Marco, you and I, about what this podcast should be about. But I actually feel like we've discovered a sort of related topic that we might want to explore.
Ooh, tell me.
I think perhaps we can talk about some of our favorite quotes, some of our favorite sayings.
Sure.
Who they're from or how they've influenced us, or just things that we find that you and I both teach from time to time. So things that we use in that, or perhaps just quotes that have always resonated.
I love that.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, please.
Well, the first one that comes to mind, now here's the thing with famous quotes. We often misquote, right? Or we'll paraphrase. So I guess it should be said that we'll probably both do a fair bit of that, but we'll do our best to find the true nature behind the quote. Perhaps you and I will discover something too in that.
Yeah, let's do it for sure.
So the first one that's coming to mind, so I'll just do them for myself anyway as they come to my mind and see. I can double check and see how close I am. But the first one that's coming to mind is life is what happens while you're making other plans.
Okay.
Which has always been attributed, I think anyway, to John Lennon.
Oh, is it?
I think so. So I'll look it up. Now, I said this actually at my sister's wedding. She and her now ex-husband, they're still good friends, so it all ends well. And he's still a member of our family, of course. Anyway, I said that at their wedding because they were both John Lennon fans.
Awesome.
Yeah, so let me look that one up.
While you're looking it up, I'll mention one of my favorite quotes, which is from the television series that Tina Fey did, that I can't remember the name.
30 Rock?
30 Rock with Alec Baldwin.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and it's live every week like it's Shark Week. And that's one of my favorite quotes. It makes me smile and laugh every time I hear it or say it. So that's one of my favorite quotes.
That's a great quote.
But it's not her character's quote. It's I'm forgetting
Alec Baldwin?
No, I'm forgetting the gentleman's name. He was the person that was really difficult.
Jack McBrayer?
No. The performer who.
The one who plays her ex-boyfriend?
No, one of the actors on the show.
Tracy Morgan?
Tracy Morgan's character. I can't remember Tracy Morgan's character's name, but anyways.
I think it's Tracy.
Oh, it's Tracy. That's right.
I think they call him Tracy.
Yeah.
I met him at an airport once. Okay, so
wait a minute. I didn't know you met him at an airport once.
Well, we were in line together.
Oh.
I didn't really introduce myself because, I don't know. I don't do that usually.
Fair enough.
So this quote is, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. That's the actual quote from John Lennon. I just always liked it because I think it's true. We all have such great plans for our life.
Sure.
But often, you can look back and go, well, I was making all these plans to be this person, to do this thing. The truth is that life is happening right here, right now, in the present.
I love that.
Yeah. And I think there's lots of ways you can look at that, but I choose to look at that as, a reminder that what we have is right now and that's enough.
True, very true.
Which also reminds me of another quote. Now, a lot of quotes that come to mind are Robert Frost. I'm a New Englander. We love to quote our Robert Frost. So, obviously, the road not taken, the path not taken, or the road not taken. I think it's the road not taken. Two roads diverged in Yellowwood. So the quote, I actually had this as my final quote in my high school yearbook.
You stole the quote?
Well, everybody had a quote, and it was usually a song lyric or poem or whatever. People would put a quote. So I used this one.
Here's Spit in Your Eye?
No, it's from that poem.
Okay.
Which is, now again, I might misquote it, but that's part of the fun of today. Oh, I kept the first for another day. yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I should look that up and see if I got that right. Meaning, I felt like at that point in my life, the wise 17-year-old that I was in that moment, I felt like, whatever choices I make now I'll say, I could always change course. I could always do something else.
Sure.
But the truth is that the choices I make now will affect every other path, and they'll get further and further away, which, is true and not true. I think you can always change course and there's many paths you'll go down. But in that moment, I think it was right. I stand by
that
my
feels
choice.
like an exhausting quote.
Yeah. Well, did you have one?
I have many. Like one of my favorite quotes is...
no, but in the yearbook, did you have a...
No.
Is that a thing you guys did?
No, we didn't have quotes. It wasn't
Okay.
quotes. I realized I may have, in my grade school yearbook, I may have referenced Juan Valdez
Oh, really?
as Brazilian, not Colombian.
Really?
And we were watching Jeopardy, and I was like, did I miss? So I need to find that yearbook, which would be before high school, which means who knows where it is right now, and see if I was smart enough back then to realize he was Colombian and not Brazilian. And of course, he is the emblem or logo of that coffee company. I can't think of the name now.
Oh,
Nescafe. Nescafe, yeah.
And you quoted him?
No, I made a reference to...
What?
So...
I don't understand. But I do have... I thought maybe I'd read the whole poem, The Road Not Taken, because there's a lot of quotes from there.
you're gonna read the whole poem?
Well, it's only 4 stanzas.
That feels like long.
He was, like most New Englanders, he was very frugal in his writing.
Okay. You feel free to read it.
But I need to hear why you were quoting but not quoting Juan Valdez, or referencing Juan Valdez.
I think it was like you had like life ambition and probable fate.
Okay.
And I think my life ambition was to be on the beaches of Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And my probable fate was riding on the donkey with Juan Valdez.
Oh, I see. In other words.
Inferring that I
Yeah.
was going to be in Brazil, but not on the beaches. I was going to be with the
Well, they're
Nescafe
both
person.
South America. At
I
least
know,
you're
but
on the right
that's-
continent.
That's not, now looking back at that, I don't like that I misjudged the quote. And it feels a little bit not so nice to Juan Valdez that he's a second prize.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Probably, I hope. I don't know. Is he a real person?
He's a fictitious...
Yeah, he's a character.
Well, it might have been based on someone. I
Well,
don't
we'll
know.
have to look that up.
I'll look that up while you do your stanza.
We had life ambition. I had judge. I wanted to be a judge at that point in my life. Okay, The Road Not Taken. The reason, again, I'm reading this is because, A, it's a beautiful and iconic poem, but also because I've quoted many parts of it. We all have, so might as well read it. The Road Not Taken, Robert Frost, 1916. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then I took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference.
Nice.
And I kind of have always lived by that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it because
Not
you're
kind of, I have.
a New Englander, or because...
I am. I'm an independent soul, but I don't think I took the path that... I didn't take the well-trodden path, that's for sure. You
Fair
have to
enough.
forge your own way into the woods.
Indeed.
All right.
Much like Juan Valdez.
Yeah, tell us about Juan Valdez.
Juan Valdez is a fictional character who has appeared in advertisements for the National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia since 1958,
Oh, wow.
representing a Colombian coffee farmer. And it goes on. And it's always a picture of a mountain and him and a donkey. And he's wearing a shawl, like what are those things called? Poncho, thank you, that you have. So,
all right. What's another quote that you like to quote?
I've always liked the quote, "Not my circus, not my monkeys,"
which apparently
is a Polish
proverb.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
You use that one a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
It's a nice way to remind yourself that not everything has to be yours.
You know what I'm going to endeavor to do for the new year?
What's that?
Learn how to say it in Polish.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I want to say it in Polish, and then I can translate it.
Well, now that we're talking about things that we quote from other languages, there's one that I have you quote all the time, and I've tried to learn in Italian.
Oh, that's right.
Now I'm trying to remember it.
It's
can
actually,
I try it?
Yeah, of course. It's actually one of my favorite quotes as well. Yeah.
Con cammina con I zoppi?
No, chi.
Yeah. Chi cammina con I zoppi, impara zoppicare. Did I do it right? Care.
Zoppicare is the verb, yeah.
Zoppicare, yeah. Impara zoppicare.
Yeah. Chi cammina con I zoppi, impara zoppicare, which means he or they who walk with the limpers learn to limp.
Yeah. That's a really great quote. And I don't really know one that kind of says the same exact thing in English. I think it's great when you...
I love it when you learn a quote from a different language.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a different language, and then you hear the translation of that quote.
Yeah. When you walk with those who limp, you too develop a limp.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fascinating. Now, here's the quote I didn't use for my yearbook. And clearly this meant a lot to me because not only am I sitting here remembering it, but I also sat and spent a month trying to decide which one. And the one that I was going to use was Benjamin Franklin, again, ever in the New Englander. It is hard for an empty bag to stand upright, which meant a lot more and felt a lot more poignant in 1993 than it does now necessarily. But for me in that moment, what I was trying to express was that you have to have character and really strength and will and fill yourself up with opportunities to stand strong and stand for yourself. And that if the water doesn't run deep, so they say, or if things are feeling shallow, then when the first bit of adversity comes your way, or, when you are at that point asked to go with the crowd, you will not stand upright.
It's amazing how quotes from so many years ago are still applicable today.
What's another one that you use?
I use, I use so many and none are coming to me at this exact moment. I'm trying to think of ones that I use.
We had a discussion about one today, the heart wants what the heart wants.
That's right.
Which
I don't use. But.
Yeah, you kind of said it as a joke. Mm-hmm. And it's been used a few ways and a few times, but it actually originates, and again, all roads might lead back to New England for me because that's Emily Dickinson. Oh. In fact, I only found that out today. Let me just look it up here.
Okay, while Amanda looks it up, I'll just mention to our listeners that this is the last episode for this season. But fear not, we're going to have our holiday episodes coming up on December 1st for 31 days. And you'll hear some episodes from the past. You'll hear some more current holiday episodes. We hope you enjoy them. And just a reminder, they tend to be a bit peppier than our regular episodes because they're not meant to be regular episodes. They're our holiday episodes. So we're getting ready for that. Let us know what you're doing for the holidays or what you'd like to hear us talk about for the holidays. And we'll try to include that in our list.
So Emily Dickinson in 1862 wrote, "The heart wants what it wants, or else it does not care."
Oh.
And you never hear that end piece of it, but I kind of love that.
Yeah, there's so many quotes that have more of an ending that you don't know. We were just talking about one that you're like, what was it? And you're like, there's more to that.
I think it was that one, wasn't it?
No, there was another one. I think we talked about it yesterday.
Well, while you think about that, I'll tell you one that I heard today for the first time that I wrote down because I thought it was great.
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
And it is, paraphrase it a little bit, but a fly will just as easily land on poop as it will a piece of pie.
Oh, okay. Where did you hear that?
It was Debbie Reynolds' mother, or Carrie Fisher's grandmother.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, used to say that. Apparently she was from Texas and used to say it all the time in a Texan way and accent. Sure. But I thought it was kind of nice because we talk about like you catch more flies with honey.
Sure.
But the truth is sometimes if you're talking about flies, people who are not discerning, they're not going to care if you serve them a piece of pie that you worked hard on or a piece of poop that you did not.
Fair enough.
Did you come up with what it was you're thinking of?
I can't remember what it was, but it was like one of these things where you're like, there's more to that. And then you looked it up. And I honestly can't remember what it was.
Well, it'll come to you.
It'll come back like a boomerang.
Mm-hmm. So those are the ones that are coming. I haven't said that one in a while. It's hard for an empty bag to stand upright.
Sometimes I'll quote like ads, famous old ads, like "You got it, Pontiac," or
I don't know if that's the same as an inspirational quote.
It's true.
But sometimes we do. I know. I'm trying to think of a few more. Should I take a pause just while we think of a few?
Sure.
Okay. So Carrie Fisher, I just finished listening to Wishful Drinking. And she had a lot of really, really great quotes just throughout the years. And funny too. But one of the ones that my friend actually has written on a hat is "Take your broken heart and make it art."
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, which I think is really lovely. Take what the fractures. I mean, when we think about fractures, broken, one that gets quoted a lot, and you and I quote a lot. One of your favorites is Leonard Cohen's "There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Beautiful quote.
Yeah.
Really powerful quote.
It's one of my favorite for sure.
It's one of those ones that it's true. Just if you have a crack in a vase, a crack in a window, that can be how the light gets in. And it's just a reminder that, through those fractures, more light can enter your heart, your soul, your perspective, certainly.
There's another one that we heard in a book just today. We were listening to an audiobook, and it's by, this quote is from Harvey Fierstein, and it's, "Accept no one's definition of your life, define yourself." And I thought that one was a really lovely quote.
You know what? There's more to "There's a crack in everything." Now that I think about it, I'm trying to remember the song. You'll be able to tell me. Mm-hmm. But it begins with "Ring the bells that still will ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." And I love that quote because a few years ago, it really kept resonating with me and coming back to me in my brain, in my head, because I have long been one of those people that suffers from what my mother anyway used to call a frustrated perfectionist. Mm-hmm. So if I couldn't clean my room perfectly, it wasn't enough, or I wouldn't do it at all. Right. If I couldn't start the thing, I wouldn't start the thing because I couldn't make it perfect, or I couldn't be good enough at the thing. Or I would get frustrated halfway through because it wasn't perfect, that type of thing. So for me, I was dealing with a moment in my life where I realized I could do everything and throw everything at something. And truthfully, it still wouldn't be perfect. It would still have what I would perceive to be holes, or it wouldn't be enough, or wouldn't serve enough. But it was quite literally all I could do. So I was sort of faced with this choice of, do it however it's going to be done. So bell, if you have, maybe you wanted to ring 10 bells and you only have 3 working, well, ring the bells that still will ring. Forget your perfect offering.
There you go. That's from the song Anthem, if you want to listen to it, by Leonard Cohen.
Such a beautiful song.
He's got so many songs that are great, and so many poems that are wonderful.
He's a beautiful poet.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly my favorite poet. Mm-hmm. So that comes to the end of this episode.
No, really?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Wow. See, there's so much to be mined there in quotes.
We've had quite a few quotes on our show as well
We
that
have.
aren't intentional quotes, but people have found very humorous over the years. So thank you for everyone who's sort of repeated those back to us. And join us, of course, next season. This is the last of season 6. It went a little bit longer, actually, than previous seasons.
Oh, really?
I try to keep them to be 26 episodes long,
Right.
and this one's in its 30s.
Well,
And there you go.
ring the bells that still will ring. And Marco, forget your perfect offering.
You're 100% right. Thank you, Amanda, for that. And until the new season, we hope you did not get to the end of this episode, but rather it lulled you to a very relaxed state. And if you did, thank you for staying with us. We really enjoy having you.
And as I said earlier to you today, and you said, oh, try to remember that for the podcast. And I'll paraphrase myself now. Our dream is that you will be dreaming by the time this podcast or this episode is done.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Amanda. And until next season, we hope you were able to listen to the season, and we hope it helped you fall asleep.